Hey guys, I'm Cecelia and we're going to be doing a Pilates workout. I'd just like a quick reminder, I'd like you guys to use your own discretion with doing any of these exercises. You want to make sure that you're staying safe while we're all staying home. You've got to be your own kind of judge and make sure that you're not doing anything that you're not comfortable with. If your body is hurting in a bad way, you're getting any jabby pains, you're getting dizzy, stop immediately. Do your best to stay safe as we go through this workout, all right? Okay, so I'm gonna get you guys to start by bringing your feet hip distance apart. And when I say hip distance, I mean in line with the hip socket, so essentially straight down. And I'm gonna do a quick review of Pilates breathing. So what I'm gonna get you to do is I'm gonna get you to put your hands on your ribs, not your waist, your ribs right up here. And we're going to inhale and think about inhaling through the nose and expanding the ribs out to the sides and the back. And then as you exhale, I'd like you to think about pulling those ribs back together, using the muscles in between the ribs. Inhale, think about expanding, opening out to the sides. Exhaling through rounded lips and squeezing those ribs back together. Think about, as you open the ribs out, think about kind of finger-like muscles around the ribs, pulling them open. And then as you exhale through the mouth, you're going to pull those ribs together. Think about the muscles in between the ribs, pulling them back towards each other. So we got that rib movement. I'm going to get you to add activating your abs as you exhale. So you're going to inhale and expand, still expanding. We can put one hand here, one hand there, where it was on the ribs. You're going to inhale, expand out to the sides, but I'd like you to make sure you're not inflating the belly. That's something you might notice is a little different from most yoga breathing. We're not inflating the belly as we inhale. There's even a bit of a hollowing out feeling. And as you exhale, you're pulling those ribs together and you're squeezing the abs. Inhale, you're opening out the ribs to the side. You're not inflating the belly. And exhale, you're squeezing the abdominals and you're pulling those ribs back in towards each other. Good, and I'd like you to bring your awareness this time to think about activating your entire core all the way around to the back as you exhale. So you're going to inhale, still expanding the sides and the back, still not inflating the belly. And then as you exhale, you're going to pull those ribs together, squeeze the abdominals, squeeze the core all the way around to the back. Strong, strong core. Think about pressing the air out of your body like an accordion. And inhale through the nose. And exhale through rounded lips as you pull those ribs back towards each other. And engage the core all the way around. All right, one more thing we're going to add to the breathing, and it's okay if you don't quite get this activation, especially with the breathing. It can be a lot to think about, but I'm going to get you guys to work on activating the pelvic floor. So the best analogy for the activation of the pelvic floor, it's a hammock of muscles inside the pelvis. And it's a pulling up feeling, but stop the flow is the analogy that we want to think of. So it's like you're peeing and you stop the stream of pee mid-flow, or like you're trying to stop yourself from passing wind. And it's a pulling up feeling inside the pelvis. Get a feel for that and then relax. Engage the pelvic floor, stop the flow, and then relax. Engage the pelvic floor, stop the flow, and then release. Good, one more time, just engaging the pelvic floor, and then release. I'm gonna get you now to hold that a little bit longer, so we're not gonna worry about all the other stuff just for a couple breaths. We're just gonna work on activating the pelvic floor. So you're going to inhale, and then exhale. Think about pulling out the pelvic floor. Try to hold that for that sustained exhale. And then inhale to release. Make sure as well too that it's more of an internal activation. It's not like squeezing the bum. It's inside the pelvis, pulling up feeling. As you exhale, holding that engagement, and then release. One more time, inhale, and exhale, pulling up the pelvic floor. Good. All right. So we're going to try to integrate all of that into the breathing. You might notice that the pelvic floor is a little harder to activate when you're also activating the core. It can kind of push down on the pelvic floor and make it harder to activate. That's okay, that's normal. Just notice if that's what's going on, and do your best to try to activate all of that when you're breathing. Your goal is to keep that type of breathing happening throughout the workout, but as we continue moving, obviously, then some of that's going to be forgotten a little bit. Just do your best to try to keep it in mind. You'll notice that we do the strength portion of a lot of the exercises on that exhale, so we're using that core strength that we built in that exhale in order to aid us in the exercises. So once again, you're going to inhale, expanding the sides, not inflating the belly. And you're going to exhale to squeeze the core all the way around to the back, pull those ribs together and pull up the pelvic floor. You're going to inhale through the nose, expanding the sides and the back. And exhale, you're going to pull those ribs together and engage the core all the way around to the back and pull up the pelvic floor. One more time, inhale through the nose, expanding the sides and the back. And exhale, knit the ribs, engage the core all the way around to the back, pull up the pelvic floor, breathing through the mouth. Good. All right, we're just going to add an angel arm to that. You're going to angel your arms up, and you're going to angel your arms down. You're inhaling to angel the arms up, and exhaling to angel the arms down. And a lot of the time when we do the breathing first, this ends up happening automatically. But what I'd like you to be aware of as we angel the arms is you're going to let the arms come slightly forward in order to keep those ribs stable. In order to do that, you need to keep a little bit of core activation throughout the movement. So I want to see this as opposed to this. So you see when I do that, I'm letting the ribs lift up. I'm pushing my arms back. I want to keep the ribs in line with the torso, and in order to do that, I let the arms just come slightly forward at the Y. We actually increase the movement in the shoulder sockets when we do it this way, when we keep the ribs stable. A lot of the time when you got shoulder tension going on, then it can get a little sticky there and you end up pulling the ribs up with you. It feels like you're moving more, but you're actually moving less in the actual shoulders. So angeling up and angeling down. Think about the muscles on the side of your body, pulling your arms down to your sides. Inhale to angel up, palms facing forward. And exhale, angeling down, using the muscles on the side of your body to pull your arms down to your sides. Don't just use gravity, palms face inward as they get close to the body. Inhale, angeling up. And exhale to angel down. Good, from there we're just going to shrug the shoulders gently with control. And then you're going to pull the shoulders down away from the ears using the muscles in the armpits. You're going to gently raise the shoulders. Pull the shoulders down away from the ears using the muscles in the armpits. Inhale to gently raise. Exhale, pulling away. This should feel good. It can sometimes feel like you're waking up some muscles, but there shouldn't be any like needle jab feelings as you do movements in the shoulders. If you're feeling that, it could just be some tension, so just ease up the movement. If it stops, then just keep the movement light, or ease up the movement completely if it continues. Inhale to raise up, and exhale to pull the shoulders down away from the ears. Inhale and exhale. And we're going to make it a rotation now. So we're going to pull the shoulders back, up, forward, and down, back, up, forward, and down. We're going to inhale back and up, and exhale forward and down. Inhale as we go up, exhale as we go down. Inhale as we go up, and exhale as we go down. We're going to change direction now. So once again, inhaling as we go up, exhaling as we go back and down now. Inhale, forward and up, exhale, back and down. Keep it nice, fluid rotation. Think about all the different directions, exaggerated rolls. Think about all the different muscles that are pulling your shoulders in every direction in order to get this movement. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Good. All right, we're going to bring our Let's bring our arms down. I'm going to get you to squeeze the shoulder blades together and then release. Think about sliding the shoulder blades together along the back and pulling them back and down like they're going into your back pockets and towards each other. Back and down with the shoulders and then just release. Don't try to come too far forward, just release them to neutral. Back and down as you exhale, inhale to release. Exhale back and down and inhale to release. Exhale back and down and inhale to release. One more time, exhale back and down and inhale to release. Good, I'm gonna get you now to just let your arms sort of dangle. You're gonna lean over to the side, let your arms fall. You're gonna think about using the side of your body to pull yourself back up to stand tall. You're gonna inhale to lean, exhale using this side of the body, starting the movement right here. You're gonna engage the side of your body and pull yourself up to stand tall. You'll notice the difference. We don't wanna lead from the shoulder and just raise up like that. Ideally, the movement is starting from right here. It ends up looking like a bit of a stack all the way up. So you start right here, and the body slowly stacks bit by bit. Inhale and exhale. Good, all right, and I'm just gonna get you to go a little bit stronger with that. We're gonna bring the legs a little wider. You're gonna reach down, and then you're gonna reach up and over. And then return, try to still use the side of your body to pull you back up. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, reaching up and over. Do your best to keep your chest nice and open. Try not to bring your arm forward like this. Looking up at the sky or up at the ceiling in front of your hand. Pull yourself back. Inhale, last one, and exhale. Good. All right, once again, we're gonna bring our feet to hip distance apart. We're going to bend in the knees, like so. So what we wanna do when we come into this position is we wanna do our best not to knock our knees together or angle our knees outward. We wanna make sure that our toes are pointing forward, and we wanna make sure that our knees aren't coming forward of our toes like that. So you're keeping your knees behind the toes, and you're making sure they're not knocking together or angling outward. And we're also going to think about kind of tilting up a little bit in the pelvis to do our best not to go into an arch position like this. Do our best to kind of tuck in that tail and raise up. We're going to lower down and raise up. You're squeezing the bum muscles whether you're going down or up. Squeezing the bum muscles on the way down. As you exhale, raise up. So use that strong exhale that we worked on when we were just doing the breathing, and inhale to lower, still squeezing the bum. Exhale, squeezing the bum, squeezing the core, pressing into those feet and coming up to stand tall. And inhale to lower down, and exhale, pressing up. Inhale to lower down, and exhale, pressing up. Inhale to lower down. This time we're gonna hold it. So double check that shape, make sure your knees aren't knocking together or angling outward. Slight tilt up with the pelvis. And we're going to inhale to lift the toes. So I'm lifting my toes kind of like this, and then I'm gonna curl my toes. So lifting the toes and curling toes. Might be a little hard to see at the camera there, but just think about lifting the toes and curling the toes. So you're gonna inhale to lift, exhale to curl. Inhale to lift, exhale to curl. Inhale to lift, exhale to curl, keeping in the squat. Inhale to lift, exhale to curl. Inhale to lift, exhale to curl. Inhale to lift, exhale to curl. Inhale, lifting those toes. Exhale, curling those toes. Inhale to lift, exhale to curl. Make sure your shoulders aren't creeping up like this. Keep those shoulders back and down. Inhale to lift, exhale to curl. Double check what your knees are doing now, because as you get fatigued, then what can end up happening is whatever your habit is, end up bringing those knees together, Do your best to try to keep them hip distance apart. Inhale to lift. Exhale to curl, squeezing the glutes. Inhale to lift. Exhale to curl, squeezing the core. Inhale to lift. Exhale to curl. Inhale to lift. Exhale to curl. And we're just going to raise up now. Good. Give your legs a little bit of a shake. Take a nice deep breath. We're going to go back down if you can. If that was enough for you, that's okay. But ideally, we're going to go back down for a little bit longer. Same like the time, but I'm going to add something to it. We're going to inhale and exhale, just release. And inhale to lower down. Double checking those knees, make sure they're not knocking together, angling outward, make sure they're not coming forward to the toes. Make sure your shoulders are back and down, squeezing your glutes, tucking the tail in a little bit. And what we're going to do is, once again, we're going to lift the toes. This time, as we exhale, we're going to come up onto the toes. Once again, keeping those knees hip distance apart. And we're going to inhale, lift the toes. Exhale, come up onto those toes. Try to get the weight between the big toe and the second toe. So if you're anything like me, the weight wants to go outward. Do your best to keep the weight between the big toe and the second toe as you raise up. Onto the toes, lowering down, lifting the toes. Exhale to raise up. Inhale, coming back. Do your best to try to keep your body fairly stable. Don't rock it too much. Try to keep the movement in the legs. Lift the toes. And exhale, come up onto those toes. We're going to stay up, stay up, stay up, stay up, stay up as we raise, 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 raise. Whew, and then lower down. Good. All right, great job. So I'd like you now to come so that you have your whole mat in front of you. Whatever direction you want to go in. A little squishy for me. All right, so whatever direction you want to go in, I'd like you to imagine a string pulling from the top of your head. And we're going to take one nice deep breath. And I'm going to get you to imagine a string from the top, pulling from the top of your head. And then somebody's going to cut that string. Your head's going to fall forward. You're going to relax your shoulders forward. You're going to work your way down bit by bit. And just gently dangle here. Gently shake your head no. And gently nod your head yes. Just let the arms dangle. And you're going to exhale, squeeze your bum, squeeze your core, stack your spine bit by bit, coming all the way up. I'd also like you guys to be careful about just keeping the knees soft. Don't lock the knees like that. It's just better for knee health overall. It's a good habit to get into, having those knees just slightly soft, not to the point where you're squatting all the time, just a little bit soft. I am going to get you actually just to do a little bit of a stretch of the hamstrings first. I'm going to get you to tilt in the pelvis. So think about sending your hip bones down towards your thighs. Knees just slightly soft, not bent. And you're only coming down to the point where you can send your hip bones towards your thighs. Once you get further than that, notice my hip bones aren't moving, but I end up just kind of lowering down in the upper body. If that's what you end up doing, if you're just trying to get your face closer to the ground, which is not what we're doing. We're doing our best to keep our back straight and hinging in the hips, sending the hips down towards the thighs. And just hold this for a few nice deep breaths. 3 more. Hold it to the point where you get a stretch in the backs of your legs. It'll likely happen pretty fast. 1 more deep breath. And straighten out. Good. Once again, we'll imagine that string pulling from the top of our head. Somebody's going to cut the string. The head falls forward. Relax the shoulders. Sequence our way down, vertebrae by vertebrae. And just come to dangle here. Let the head rest. Let the arms dangle. Inhale nice and deep. And then exhale, engage the muscles in the bum, engage the muscles in the core. Think about stacking your spine vertebrae by vertebrae. The lower back stacks, the middle back stacks, the upper back stacks, and your head comes to sit on top. Going to inhale and exhale. Relax the head forward. Let the weight of your head pull you down the rest of the way. Let the arms dangle. Inhale nice and deep. And exhale, engaging the muscles in the bum, engaging the muscles in the core. Trying to do this whole movement on one nice long exhale. If you run out of breath, then just stop where you are. And then exhale to continue the movement all the way up. Inhale. And exhale to lower down, relaxing the shoulders, sequencing your way down bit by bit. Knees just slightly soft. And then we're going to tiptoe our fingers forward. We're going to reach the heels back towards the mat. And while we're reaching the heels back towards the mat, we're going to bring our arms so that they're right underneath our shoulders, not underneath the eyes. I'm going to bring those arms so that they're right underneath the shoulders and about shoulder width apart. Continue reaching those heels back towards the mat. You want to try to get a nice straight line, so right where it gets most difficult. So if you go a little too far and sink into your, sink in the hips, that's too far. That's beyond the point where it's nice and strong. You don't want to do that. If you have to send your bum up a little bit, I'd rather see that than the sinking pelvis. But ideally, you're able to find that straight line from head to toes. If you can't, then you can lower the knees and find that straight line from head to knees. All right, so try to find that straight line. And we're going to now inhale and exhale. Inhale, keep reaching those heels back towards the mat. And exhale to straighten out. Make sure you don't sink too low as you straighten out. Inhale and exhale. The only thing that is actively moving as you do this exercise is your hinging in the hips. So your back is staying straight, your neck is staying in line with your spine, your knees are staying just slightly soft, your heels continue to reach back towards the mat. And you come into a straight line, and then you come into your bum in the air. And we're going to straighten out. We're going to bring one knee down, other knee down. Bring your bum back towards your heels. And just bring your forehead to the mat. And we're just going to work out any tension in the wrists. If we have tense wrists, then we can end up feeling that pretty quickly. So I'm going to get you just to point your fingertips towards your head when you're in this position. So what that looks like is just like so. And all you're doing is you're just bringing those wrists into the opposite direction than what they were in when you had weight on them. So just rest there, point those fingertips towards your head. And we'll just hold this for 3 nice deep breaths. Exhale. And inhale, I'd like you to think about expanding your back. And exhale, think about releasing and relaxing any tension. Inhale, think about expanding your whole back. And exhale, think about releasing and relaxing any tension. We're going to now inch our fingertips forward on the mat, keeping them shoulder width apart. Inhale to prepare. And you're going to exhale to try to get your chest as close to the mat as you can as you press forward, 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 forward. And come to lie on the mat with your arms underneath your shoulders. For now, we're just going to come up like so. Send our bums back. Inhale. And exhale. Get your chest as close to the mat as you can. As you come forward, forward, forward. Try to touch your chest to the mat. Probably not going to get that low. Just think about that. And just going to press into those arms. And send your bum back. Creeping a little further back, down the hill a little bit. I'm going to inhale. And exhale. Get your chest as close to the mat as you can as you come forward, 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 and come to lie on the mat. We're going to press up, and then we're going to send the bums back and come back into child's pose. I'm going to add to it this time. It's going to be optional though. You're going to inhale. You're going to exhale to try to get your chest as close to the mat as you can. Coming forward, 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 forward. And what we're going to do now is you have the option, either you continue doing it like this, pressing up into the modified push-up, or if the modified push-up is too much for you, you can also send your bum up and just come into more of a kind of a child's pose, but your hands don't need to be fully lined up before you send your bum back. But if you have stronger arms and you want a little bit more challenge, then I'm going to get you to curl your toes under. You're going to inhale and exhale to get really, really strong in the bum, really, really strong in the core. Inhale and keep that strength. Exhale, even stronger in the core. Think light as a feather, stiff as a board. You're not going to change shape. You're going to inhale and keep that strength. And exhale to press into your arms and come up, 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 up in a straight line. What you don't want to do is leave your bum behind. So this is the most common thing that I see. I don't want that. Notice if you're leaving your bum behind. We don't want to leave the bum behind. If you don't have the strength, then you can leave your knees on the ground. This isn't easy. So don't feel bad if you can't do it. This is not easy to do. Just be aware of that. If you find that you're about right here and you can't get any further, that's a good workout. Try that and that's fine. And then next you can just push up like so, all right? So if we can, we'll try one more time. Inhale, exhale, get strong, strong, strong in that core. Inhale and keep that strength. Exhale to press, press, press into those arms and push up, up, up. Good, if you can do it slow, then that's really using your strength. If you need to do a little bit of a power movement up, then that's also okay right now. Inhale. And we're just gonna now exhale to get our chest as close to the mat as we can as we press forward, 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 and come to lie on the mat. And now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna bring the arms straight out into a T, and then we're gonna bend the elbows. So make sure when you bend the elbows, you don't pull the elbows down or push them up like this. We got those arms out into a T, and then we're gonna bend them, keeping the upper arms still in that T position. You're going to open your legs out to about mat width. My mat's a little wide, so I'm going to come a little bit less than a typical mat width, or to typical mat width. You're going to inhale, and you're going to exhale. Think about curling up. Inhale at the top, and exhale to lengthen and uncurl. Inhale at the bottom, and exhale, curling up. We're only coming up as high as we can with only the strength in our back. We're not pressing into the arms. Shouldn't change height if you lift the arms. You're only coming up as high as you can retain that position using the muscles in your back. And we're going to lengthen and lower. I'm just lying on something. I'm just going to get out of my way here. Didn't work. All right, there we go. Sorry guys, technical difficulties. Okay, so still in this position, I'm going to inhale and exhale, curling up. Only using the muscles in your back. Inhale at the top and exhale to lengthen and uncurl. Keep squeezing the muscles in your core as well too, and in your bum. Help protect your back. Curling up. Inhale and exhale to lengthen and uncurl. Inhale at the bottom. We're going to add to it this time. We're going to exhale to curl up. We're going to inhale to press into the arms and come up as high as we can without feeling any pain in the low back. So if you feel pain in the low back, lower back down a little bit further. Don't come up to the point where you feel pain in the low back. We're going to lengthen and uncurl. We're going to inhale and exhale to lengthen. Don't use the arms yet. Come up to the point that you can with strength. And then inhale to press in to the arms and come up the rest of the way. If you're feeling completely comfortable all the way up with the arms in this position, then I'm going to show you another position that we can get a little bit more of an arch. But if you're comfortable here, you don't want to go any higher, then keep your arms where they are. If you want to go higher, we're going to bring the feet to hip distance apart. And we're going to bring the arms right underneath the shoulders. You're going to inhale. And you're going to exhale to curl up once again, using the muscles in your back. Don't press into the arms yet until you inhale. And then you're going to press once again, only as high as you don't feel any pain in the low back. We're also doing our best to keep our pelvis heavy. So we're not getting to a point, so keep your elbows bent and glutes to your sides. We're more interested in getting an arch than we are in getting height. So we're not pressing up like this, lifting the pelvis off the ground. Right now, what we're doing is we're keeping the pelvis nice and heavy. We're really focusing on getting that arch as we raise up, keeping the elbows close to the body. And you're going to lower down all the way. Going to inhale at the bottom. Exhale, curling up, only using the muscles in the back first. And then inhale to press up the rest of the way as high as you can without pain in the low back. And then exhale to lengthen and uncurl. And one more time, inhale. Exhale, curling up using the muscles in the back. Inhale to press up the rest of the way. Inhale. Sorry, still inhaling, and then exhale to lengthen and uncurl. Good. All right, I'm going to get you now to bring your arms. Yeah, I'm going to get you to bring your arms once again into that T shape and then bend at the elbows. Our feet, if they haven't already been brought to hip distance apart, then bring your feet hip distance apart. And what we're going to do is we're going to lift one leg from the bum. And then you're going to lower down. So you're lifting from the bum, from right here, squeezing the bum, lifting the leg. And then you're going to lower down. We're not, I might switch to this leg just because you might be able to see better. We're lifting from the bum. You want to do your best to try to lift here as well too. We're not lifting from the knee like that. Making sure that we're squeezing that bum, lifting from the bum and lowering. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Okay, sorry, I have to try that again. I tried to ignore the bug I swallowed, but I think that didn't work. Okay. All right, so we're lifting the leg from the bum, like so. You want to make sure that you aren't just lifting from the knee like that. You want to get that thigh up a little bit as well too. Lifting from the bum right here. Strong core, so make sure you're not arching the low back like that. Try and keep fairly stable in the upper body. And think about squeezing the bum to lift. And lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. And lifting from the bum and lower. We'll raise up right to the sticking point. And what I'm going to get you to do now is squeeze your bum. Squeeze your bum. and then release. That's going to cause just kind of a gentle push, gentle pulse with the leg kind of raising an inch or two, but it's coming from a squeeze of the bum. So squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. It's not coming from momentum. We're not rocking back and forth like this. We're squeeze, 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 squeeze. If you're doing this right, you're probably going to start to feel it real quick. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Make sure you're not shifting into momentum. Using that squeeze, squeeze, strong core. Protect your low back. Squeeze, 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 and lower down. Okay, we're going to switch legs now. Lift the other leg, remembering to lift from the bum, not from the knee. And you're also, actually I'm just going to show you on this side something I also don't want to see. Make sure that you're lifting, but you're keeping both hip bones nice and heavy. I don't want to see this. Right? A common tendency is to lift that hip and kind of twist to the side. Keep both hip bones nice and heavy. All right, so we're on this side, and we're going to lift and lower, and lift, lifting from the bum, strong core, forehead just resting on the mat, lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower. You're going to lift now to that sticking point, and then you're going to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Not using momentum, using the muscles in the bum to squeeze, 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 squeeze. Just a slight movement. It's not a big rocking movement like that. Keeping strong in the core so you're not rocking around in the low back. Keep that core nice and engaged. Squeezing from the bum. Squeeze, 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 and lower down. Good. All right. And what I'm going to get you to do now, we're going to combine the two exercises that we just did. So you're going to just bring your arms down to your sides, palms facing upward, thumbs facing inward. And we're going to lift both legs from the bum. And then we're going to not quite curl up with the upper body, but we're going to lift the upper body. So it's going to be, so you lift the legs first, and then you're going to lift like so. You're still keeping your neck fairly in line with the spine. So instead of curling up like that, we're looking down at the mat in front of us. And we've rotated our palms so that the palms are facing downward. The thumbs are pointing away from the body. You're squeezing your shoulder blades together. You're squeezing your bum. You're squeezing your core. Strong, strong core. Strong bum. Squeezing the shoulder blades together. Neck in line with the spine. And you're going to just hold this position. We're going to focus on breathing. So you're going to inhale, exhale, squeeze the bum. Inhale, exhale, squeeze the core. Inhale, exhale, shoulder blades together. Inhale, exhale, neck in line with the spine. You're doing all these things all the time, but on each exhale, we're just focusing on something else, just reminding ourselves to do that. Inhale, exhale, squeeze the bum. Inhale, exhale, squeeze the core. Inhale, exhale, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Inhale, exhale, make sure your neck is in line with your spine. Inhale, exhale, squeeze the bum. Inhale, exhale, squeeze the core. Inhale, exhale, shoulder blades together. Inhale, exhale, and your neck is in line with your spine. And the next inhale, we'll lower down. Let the palms face upward again. Good, and just hold for a couple of nice deep breaths. Just relax. Good, all right. And I'm going to get you now to shuffle onto your back. I just got to pull my little microphone pack out so I can lie down. All right, so we're going to come to lie on our backs, and I'm going to bring your awareness to the shape of your back against the mat. So in a perfect world, we've got heavy bum, heavy back ribs, and a natural lightness right here in the low back where there's a natural slight arch. We're going to play around with that a little bit. What I'm going to get you to do is tilt your pelvis so that your hip bones are pointing up towards your upper body. And then tilt your pelvis so that your hip bones are pointing down towards your legs. Theoretically, really, they're going to kind of point upward. And then tilting the pelvis so your hip bones point up towards the upper body, and tilting the pelvis so they point down towards the legs. You'll notice that as you do the simple tilting movement in the pelvis, what naturally ends up happening is as you tilt up towards the upper body, your low back presses against the mat. As you tilt down towards the legs, your low back arch increases. So this is a good exercise for isolating the hips, but it's also a good exercise to bring your awareness to what happens if you're allowing your pelvis to shift around. Whenever we're doing any exercises that involve leg lifts, core exercises, then our goal is to try to retain a stable torso, stable low back. And if you're shifting around in the pelvis, then guaranteed you're not keeping that stable back. So it's good to be aware of how much the shape of your back changes just with that little tilt in the pelvis. I'd like you to be careful when you're tilting up, especially to make sure that you are not pressing into your feet and lifting like that. We're not getting to a point where we're lifting the bum off the mat. Just bring it to the point where you are controlling that movement just from the pelvis, tilting down and tilting back up. Good. All right, return to neutral. Find that neutral in between. So you're not arching up, you're not pressing the low back in. You found that nice neutral in between. Your pelvis is heavy, your back ribs are heavy, so your back ribs aren't lifted. And your low back has that natural, just slight arch. So we'll bring the arms down to the sides. Actually, first, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you an exercise that adds to that pelvic tilt, and it's also a really good exercise to remember if we're doing any exercises where we raise our legs. Sometimes you can get tense in the low back because you're allowing it to shift around, or it can get tense here in the hip flexors. So this is a nice, just little simple exercise that you can return to whenever you need to in order to work out any tension that you're building in the low back or in the hips if you need to. So we're going to inhale, and we're going to tilt the pelvis. Now we're going to press into the feet and lift the bum off the ground, and we're going to sequence the spine off of the mat, vertebrae by vertebrae. You're going to come into a nice straight line from knees to shoulders. You're going to inhale. You're going to exhale to work your way down, upper back, middle back, lower back presses into the mat. And then your bum returns to neutral, sinking into the mat as well. You're going to inhale and exhale, tilt the pelvis, sequencing the spine off the mat, vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhale at the top and exhale to work your way down. Your bum is trying to fight gravity, wants to be the last thing to reach the mat. Once your low back presses into the mat, then your bum relaxes into the mat, returning your spine to neutral, returning that slight arch to the low back. So just remember that exercise. If you need to take a quick break, rather than just collapsing, it's good to just kind of return to that simple little comfortable movement and then resume with what we're doing beyond that. So we're going to get nice and strong in the core. I'm going to inhale, keep that strength. Exhale, get even stronger. You're not going to change shape in the pelvis. Inhale, keep that strength. Exhale, float one leg up to 90 degrees and then the other. So we want to make sure that we only come to 90 degrees. If we come further than that, then what automatically happens is our pelvis tilts up and our low back presses against the mat. So we already covered that we want to keep that, that spine nice and straight and that pelvis in neutral. We don't want to start shifting on the low back. So you're going to bring your legs only to 90. If you come less than 90 and you're like this, you're working harder than you need to be. So come right in to 90. And we're going to start by just bringing the leg down like this and then pulling back up, using your core to pull up. You're going to inhale to lower and exhale to pull up. Inhale to lower and exhale to pull up. Inhale to lower. Your main focus in this movement, as it is in any leg lift based exercise, is to retain the stability in your core. And that means that if you can only go to here and then you need to come back up, that's okay. It's better to do that than it is to do this. Ugh. You want to do your best to keep the stability of the torso. That's your highest priority when you're doing exercises like this. Lower down. I'd also like to bring your awareness to the fact that we're moving in the hips. We're not just bending the knees. So it looks like this, not like this. Right? So do your best to try to retain that shape in the knee as you lower and lift. Inhale to lower. Exhale to pull back up. Good. All right, now I will get you to straighten one leg. So we're going to inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale to straighten and exhale to return. Once again, your main focus is keeping that stability in the torso. If you're shaking, that's great. It's good to shake. Your muscles are activating. That's all good. Once again, if you need to adjust, so if you need to come to here, 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 whatever height you are able to retain while keeping that stability in the torso, that's the height you should be going to. Your main focus is retaining that stability in the torso. That's what makes this a great core exercise. Keeping that torso nice and stable and strong. Good, let's do one more on the other side. Inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. Good, bring your legs down. And we're just going to knit our fingertips behind our head. And we're going to curl up. Inhale to lower down. Exhale to curl up. Inhale to lower down. Exhale to curl up. Inhale to lower down. Exhale to curl up. We're going to stay at the sticking point now. Make sure you're not pulling on your neck. You want to keep your elbows nice and wide. Actually, let's just reset a little bit. So I'm going to get you to just look straight ahead. Bring your elbows so that you can see them just out of the corners of your eyes when you're looking straight ahead. Make sure that you don't pull them in as you're raising. So we're curling up. We're keeping the elbows nice and wide. We're making sure that we're just using the hands as a little bit of a cushion. We're not using them to pull our head further up into the position. So one more time, just inhale to lower, exhale using the muscles in the front of your body to curl you up, pulling you up into that curled position. And then once we're in that position, I'm going to get you to do the same sort of thing that we did with the legs earlier. It's going to be a squeeze and then release. You're not going all the way down. You're only moving an inch or two, but you're using squeeze in the core, squeeze, squeeze. So it's not momentum. We're not rocking up and down. We're bringing that movement from the core right here. We're squeezing and releasing. Squeeze, release. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Don't shift into momentum. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. We'll pick up the pace a little bit. Squeeze, 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 and release. Once again, if you're doing that right, you're going to feel it really quickly. You're going to inhale and exhale, just relax. Inhale to prepare. We're going to do it again. Exhale to curl up using the muscles in the front of your body, keeping those elbows nice and wide. Make sure you're using the muscles in the front of the body and not using your hands to pull yourself up further. And we're going to squeeze, 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 a little faster, squeeze, 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 not using momentum, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Every movement is a pulse, a squeeze of that core, squeeze, 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 and lower down. Good, great job. All right, I'm gonna get you now just to pull your knees into your chest. Give them a hug. Getting a nice stretch in that low back. You're allowing the pelvis naturally to shift so that your low back is pressing against the mat. Just pulling those knees into your chest as far as you can. Inhale and exhale. Do your best to let the shoulders stay back and down, so don't let them creep up like this. Try to keep those shoulders back and down. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more deep breath. Inhale and exhale. Good. Bring the legs back down. And we're just going to do a couple more of those bridges that we did before. You're going to bring your feet and your knees so that they're hip distance apart. And you're going to tilt the pelvis, pointing the hip bones up towards the upper body, pushing into the feet, and raising up into a straight line from knees to shoulders. Inhale at the top, and exhale to work your way down. Upper back, middle back, lower back presses into the mat, and then you relax your pelvis into neutral, returning your bum to the mat. You're going to inhale and exhale to sequence your way up. This exercise should feel really nice. It should feel like you're getting a massage from the mat. Make sure that your knees are staying hip distance apart. You don't want to let them sink outward or knock together. And relaxing into the mat. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale to tilt the pelvis. Sequencing your way up bit by bit. Only come into a straight line. We're not needing to push up further than that right now. We're just coming to a nice straight line. Inhale at the top and exhale to work your way down. Bum is trying to fight gravity, wants to be the last thing to reach the mat. Once that low back presses into the mat, then your bum relaxes into the mat as well too, returning that nice neutral slight arch in the spine. Inhale. Last one. We're going to tilt the pelvis, sequence our way up bit by bit. Inhale at the top and exhale to work our way down. Upper back, middle back, lower back presses into the mat, and then your bum relaxes into neutral. Good. We're going to pull our legs up to 90 using the strength in the core. Bring our arms out into a T, and we're just going to bring our legs together and send the legs down using control. Engage your core to slowly send your legs down to the side and turn to look towards the opposite side. And just hold here for a few nice deep breaths. You want to do your best to keep both shoulders heavy on the mat, so as we've twisted in this direction, we haven't lifted like so. We're keeping the opposite shoulder, both shoulders nice and heavy against the mat. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And if you can't quite do it with your legs out like that, you can also try with your feet more in line with the body, like so. Inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. If we're in this position, then we're going to get inhale to prepare. You're going to exhale to get strong in that core. You're going to pull your legs back through center. You're going to inhale in the middle. Then you're going to exhale to use that strength to slowly lower down with control and turn your head to look the opposite way. Inhale and exhale, keeping both shoulders nice and heavy. Inhale and exhale. As you inhale, think about expanding in the ribs. It's going to increase the stretch feeling a little bit. And as you exhale, think about releasing and relaxing deeper into the position. Inhale and exhale, releasing and relaxing. Inhale and exhale, releasing any tension, relaxing into the position. Inhale and exhale. And one more time now. We're going to inhale to prepare. You're going to exhale to use that strength to pull your legs back to center. And then you're going to lower your legs back down to the mat. Good. All right, great job, guys. I think it was a great job. I can't really see you, but if you got through it, then I think you did great.